N and I haven't put up the screen yet. Where's resistance? Some put fib lines on it. Well, some draw, connect dots on the chart and project it into the future, thinking it's support and resistance. I don't know. Maybe there's still some 40-year-olds out there that play with crayons. Oh, gosh. All right. All right, so let's see where we are at. So it's interesting pattern here. This is actually one of the scenarios from the letter. If it plays out that way, it'll just be something else I've never seen in my 30 years of doing this. So yesterday, the markets, I can't even remember why they went down, but as you can see on the 15-minute chart, it came down, tried to make this bottom here, and some of us actually bought over here based on the 5-minute, and it was just jiggling. And remember, I said it's taken a long time, and I wound up having to leave, and got out of it around there. And I'm sure some rest of you cut it loose too as it dropped. But anyway, I wasn't around to take advantage of the next drop. But look, it's day-to-day news-driven market. The pattern is there, the W pattern and the stabilization, and then back up, and the overnight, corrective and whatever news there was this morning, driving it higher. So look, just looking at the pattern, I don't know where it's going to close. If it closes this way, clearly it says it's going higher. We talked about 3,000 and the 200 MA yesterday. But one of the things I wrote about in the weekend letter and the advisory letter was the most amazing pattern would be as if this actually turned into a continuation measured move pattern where it went back up to the old high on the weekly time frame. Totally hard to imagine, but I'm looking at this and saying, hey, if this week closed strong, that's what it suggests. We'll see. If this was turning into a topping tail at the end of the week, well, we got a whole different picture. And that's why we don't make trading decisions on a particular time frame with incomplete candles. And some will do that. It happens all the time, especially on the daily chart, where you have a green candle at 2 o'clock and things look amazing and people place trades, and at 4 o'clock it's a big red candle, and it's like, what do I do now? My canned answer is, I don't know. I wouldn't take that trade based on what that candle looks like now. So we got this whippy price action on the 60-minute, and I can scrunch that up, just to see. Let's just change this to a 180-minute chart so we don't have to have scrunched as much as we can. And what we see is really this clear air here. I know it's squashed, but if it closes above here, there's the void up to actually above 3,100 before it hits a peak with pivot highs. I can see this here, but this is really insignificant in the context of this. So look, we shall just see if this can actually continue. you know, news driven market, day to day. We don't know. Tomorrow could be a gap down under the low. There's just an unknown. So there is that uncertainty in this market about swing trades at this point. You know, share sizing appropriately, giving things enough room will protect you as much as possible. But with a weekly chart like this, the assumption is that, okay, could this be like the first time ever, a measured move after a crushing move to the downside? Anything's possible. Maybe more probable is that this could be a breakout failure or a new high failure, and then it reverses back down. So it's day to day as to what's going on. So far, this is churning higher. And I say keep an eye on the exit door. NASDAQ futures had been showing relative strength. Now they're showing a little relative weakness, right? So yes, yesterday they were weaker. The day before they were weaker than the S&Ps. And so there was this big topping tail yesterday, which looks like, hey, M top. That's not in alignment with what we're seeing on the S&P. And so it's either, you know, money rotating for a while into other stocks, and this is going sideways, and whether it's an M top or it's just a resting period before it breaks out higher above 9,000, and the same type of continuation pattern. So when we see things like down here where it's extended and it makes sense, and we're seeing bottoming patterns, that makes sense. But when we see daily patterns that are grinding up against weekly charts that should reverse to the downside, that's confusion. It's not a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly, George, right? No, that's not what we teach as a 1, 2, 3. This is going up for several days and you got a bottoming tail. It could be a continuation pattern. 1, 2, 3 is like down here, right? Wide bar up, inside bar at the top, and then continues. Right? Most of the time, the wide bar doesn't have a tail on the top, but you got an inside bar. Kind of like this. It's not textbook, but big bar down, inside bar, looking for it to continue. Right? YM, S&Ps, it usually kind of looks similar to the S&P, but maybe not advancing at the same rate. Nonetheless, you got so far, I mean, it looks like it's ignoring a topping tail, no follow through to the topping tail. Right? I'll repeat again, this bar is just starting. If it's a topping tail or a red topping tail bar at the end of the day, bar by bar analysis says look for lower. And then we see if there's confirmation the next day. And so 2,400 is the line in the sand here. For the moment, today is Wednesday. And as far as 0 data expiration put spreads, it might be a little tight, but let's see what this does here in, you know, the first 15 minutes or so. Maybe getting down below here, this level, and it's on there. Okay, it moved with it. Fine. Maybe even down below this bar right here, going 3 bars back should be safe if there's premium there. I don't know that there's any place safe that would have premium up above. Right? And I was saying for 2 weeks while the market was gyrating and looking like it could roll over, I said, you know what? This just doesn't make sense. It's the fly in the ointment where this looks like a bullish pattern. Where it's retesting this bottoming tail bar, and here it is. It's moving up into this congestion right there. These overlapping opens and closes. So the Russell has been playing what we call catch up, and there's really nothing to stop it. You know, if it can get through here, there's nothing to stop it. That doesn't mean it won't stop. It just means as we look to the left, the next resistance area is up there at 1,500 where the 200 is. Um, you know, it's got that area there that traders will be looking for. But this is what, calling a correction over time, in this pattern certainly has to give you a little bit of apprehension as far as that actually stopping things because of this grinding upward correction. It is up, right? Several days in a row off of here. So from a swing trading perspective, if you're looking at the Russell, this was the place to get long. And this is the place where you should be cutting some loose and trail stopping. Tony saying if IWM catches up, is bullish for overall market as it fires on all cylinders and internals. Yes, Tony. But at that point, whether it's the Russell, it's the transports with the airlines coming up, what I said yesterday is like junk is going higher, right? The junk is going higher. So now breadth is moving up above this upper level here. Does it mean, well, let me explain something about the breadth here. In a market that's going up like this, remember, I told you back here, this is bullish. And I said, this is bullish, even though it's green because of the speed at which it moved. And now sentiment doesn't match yet. It's not up there. So let's assume the junk rises to the top. And now the market's, as you say, is firing on all cylinders. Sentiment theoretically will now reach this extreme level in alignment with breadth. As breadth goes sideways above zero here, that's okay. It doesn't mean bearish for the market. It's actually positive. But when sentiment reaches this upper level, and this is up here, or it could be deteriorated a little bit, and everything just looks terrific, that's where the market's going to drop. Right? The market could drop today, tomorrow, that aside, but when we bring our internals into the analysis, this doesn't tell us anything yet because sentiment is just neutral, right? Everything that we explain about sentiment and breadth and market internals is one by themselves doesn't tell us to change our bias, right? We take note of it, right? But they have to be in agreement. That's when we get a signal. So transports up at this high, we'll see if they continue to show some strength today. The airlines had a good day yesterday. So again, dumpster diving, money rotating into the junk. And maybe from a long-term perspective, is this thing, oil being down as much as it is, and maybe this Corona thing and people are going to start flying again. Maybe these are, an intermediate term goodbye here, since they've been going sideways for a while. But you have to realize that patterns like this, they're not Apple Computer, they're not Amazon, they're not going to be momentum stocks, and you're going to sit through things like this where they look great and they come back down again. But if you're patient, maybe they totally make sense. So, Joe Ross is asking, wow, any good reason for the big gap? A 1-for-8 split. So because of the way it's structured, Dan could explain better. It could have went to zero, so they do a reverse split on it, Jose. All right, let's look at oil. All right. That's the current contract. Everybody knows about that and the storage issue. It's beginning to stabilize here. And maybe it pops up a little bit, which is good. Bonds are just dead in the water, but they're going sideways at resistance. We got a red bar ignored from yesterday. You got to keep an eye on this. See if this starts popping higher or going lower. It'll be an indication for market direction. Gold is chopping around up here. They've been kind of moving inverse of the market. So, the market looks like it's going to roll over, gold goes up, and vice versa. So it's down a little bit here today, but overall still bullish as it gets closer to that resistance area between here and 2000. Silver, kind of a kind of a bullish pattern with this little retest here. Not the greatest, but you know, hey, if this market sells off, silver just might be the place that you're going to get a good bang for the buck here. So set an alert and just see if it starts to pick up some steam. And what else? Take a look at. We'll give Dan plenty of time. If I stop here, Dan, you're welcome to take it on. You know, some things moving here. It's mostly the question for me is whether the market can hold on to this gain here, pre-market going into the day, and we'll see where it all goes. SPX, well, I said the put side, I think, is what makes sense. Let me just go to spiders here for a second. You can see they're up at almost 293. 293. Not much to the left there. I think it's going to be tricky, but even if this is a gap in crap, if this premium, you know, down here, I think that is what should be considered. And if we're getting away, if it gaps and starts to crap, again, the whole idea with credit spreads is there premium. So if there was premium up here, and I kind of doubt it, but I will look later. If there was premium up here above 3,000, I think that would be a no-brainer with today's expiration. Let's see where it is. And you can, here's the levels, and you know it's gapping above this little trading range, and we'll just have to see if it comes back in again after the open. So that's it. All yours, Dan. JR is asking about Norwegian airline. Dan, if you're talking, you must be muted. He is muted. I don't know. Dan kind of disappeared.
Yeah, someone was at the door. Alrighty. Yeah, we've done a good job trading junk. Cruise ships, we picked up airlines, you know, the restaurants. Now look at this save. That was going to be on to buy yesterday's high, and darn it, the gap's messing it up. But we're in jets. Alex got me into MPC. Nice gap up here. So all our opens are fine. Actually, Kroger looks like the only one lagging. But we're in the cruise ship. Greg, look at my Carnival. And you were trying to get me to release my merchandise early. We're in this junk restaurant here, gapping up nice. XAR, even Norwegian, looks like it wants to play catch up. Look at that. These are, if you trust charts, these are the places. DKS, we have a put spread. EAT, this was another beautiful lagging restaurant I wish we got into yesterday. It was on my list, and the gaps mess it up. All right, so let's, ALK was on our list. Look at that thing gapping up. So let's go right to gappers here. There's a ton of earnings. I'll go fairly fast because there's so many of them here, and I'm just looking for tier ones, which means they look, you know, multiple time frames in alignment. So Maxim here, it's down, topping tail. I got no interest. Now let's take a look at some of the usual suspects. AMD, Remember yesterday I was questioning Kramer. He was saying they're gonna have such a blowout earnings. And my response was, unless you have inside information, how the heck do you know what it's gonna do on a gap? So look at this, gapping down. Google's beautiful pro gap here. Today's MT Live is on 0. Scott, your drop down 0 DTE day, which is today for the spiders. It's not for Google, but this is still a candidate to sell a Friday put spread if it sets up bullish pre-market. Boeing dog, you know, it's trying to bottom, so that's a put spread. It had earnings. Let's see, there's a question on YouTube here. Chris did a bear call spread on Netflix. Now, I liked Netflix call spread yesterday, but what I didn't like, and the reason look at it down today. Nice, nice. But what I didn't, the reason I didn't give it, 2 reasons. The premium was insufficient, in my opinion, for Friday. Number 1. Number 2, you know, all these other FANG stocks are reporting, and even though they're separate sectors, I thought it would get some tailwinds with good news on the others, which today it's not. So he's asking me, should I move my stop? Absolutely, I would move it. I'd move it to the pre-market highs. Yes, pre-market high 407.95. So you got it perfectly. Move it to over 408. Mike's asking about an Adobe call spread 350. Yeah, thanks, Barrett, on the triangles. And that's going to be the following week's MT Live, just because I've been seeing so many of them. And, you know, we had like 25 open positions yesterday. We stopped out of a bunch of them, all at profits. Adobe 341. We have a concept on retracement into bars. This one's gapping 50%. So it's questionable. I'd say maybe 30-minute high, but if anything that goes more than 50% into a big ugly red bar is not good. So that's my answer on that. But let me keep going here. I have so many. LSCC. Tanya was asking me yesterday, hey, Dan, when you say pre-market, you can't tell where it's gapping. What does that mean? And I told her, I said, if I don't see a tradable pattern pre-market, yes, I see a dot or two up here, but a dot is not reliable. So that's an example. I have no idea where he's gapping. As opposed to this. Look, this is a tradable pattern on GE pre-market. I'm saying they're liquid bars, they're tradable. So this is a sell setup right now pre-market, but you know, daily's a mess. I got no interest. We'll come back to it. Masi, it's bullish gap, but too expensive, too extended rather, far from the 20. This is a big mess. I'm just going into pruning mode here. Just you cannot have too big of a focus list or you will miss things. See here, I can't tell where you're gapping. I see a dot here at 36.20. So we'll just come back when I scan the list again around 10 a.m. Here, Humana, I got one dot at 375. We'll come back. Array, nice little bottoming pattern. You know, gap up from a bottoming pattern. So that's worth, it's not a tier 1, so I'm not going to do anything or even put it in a thumbnail, but I will leave it on the list for further consideration. Somebody asked me a minute ago how to take advantage of Google. Simple. I always got fangs in a window. They're right in front of my eyes. So you just watch how it sets up in the first hour. That's all. If it does, then we use bullish stock and option strategies. If it doesn't set up, then we do nothing. Let's see here, I don't even have a dot pre-market, so I have no idea where APAM is. Yum, yum, yum. 48 bucks. That's a bullish gap. So I would just say 30. If this can take out a 30-minute high, target 49 to 50. So not real big, but it's a sloppy reverse head and shoulders. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, gap up. Sure. MTH gap in a 52. That might be a day trade gap and crap. Although better gap and crap patterns have what we call an end of day rally. Like here's an end of day rally, meaning, look, see this pivot low, and it pretty much ran all day long. Whereas this is an end of day base. So that's strength. Facebook, 190. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about the target, but it's a bullish gap.
That's what I was saying, Dan. Like in the gap list, which TC 1000 now updates gap lists, new their beta version. So it's in the list gapping above a red bar, but there's another one right to the left. Right? It's great when they have a void. Look at LSCC gapping above a bunch of red bars. It's got a little bit of room.
Yeah, I said I like that, but I don't trust these dots. That's what I was mentioning to Tanya. So but if it is real, then yeah. So I'll put that one in a window.
MMP gapping above red bars. It's unusual to have this many. There's only 5, but usually don't have this many gapping above big red bars. ALKS, that's biotech, and another biotech, BNTX. And on the downside, iRobot is gapping below.
I got it right here. That's I was waiting for you to finish. Yeah, I just put that in a window, 15-minute window. So this, when you get, this is a wide range ending bar after multiple up bars, bearish gap down. So definitely that's on a short watch. Let's continue here. We got 3 minutes left. Starbucks had a bearish gap down, but negated it, making it neutral if it can take out a 30-minute high. Ford, sell setup pre-market. I'm pruning you. Guild. The news was saying as part of the little euphoria pre-market because of news on their vaccine, whatever. Zoom, we had a bear call credit spread the other day, but we took our profits. This is a beautiful bearish 15-minute chart. Gap down, wide range. This is a bear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Target for day trade 145. So keep an eye on that for a 30-minute low. I'm going to put that in a window. Save. Airline, I said I liked, but we need a pullback. Weight Watchers 2630. It's a bullish gap, but it's too big. It's gapping up 10%, but it could churn its way up to 30. Nail, this is a inverse, just a triple housing, and it's having a nice gap up, big old price void. Alaska, I said I liked that one yesterday too. I'm gonna put that in the window. This Red Robin, we're in already. Looks great. Wrigley, another bottoming pattern, gapping up. 30-minute high. Might go to $6. Yum. I'm deleting you. Below, gapping up. Nice pre-market. Nice pre-market, but it's oil. You got some resistance over here. Hog. No great pattern. There's a lot of resistance here. Maybe a put spread would be would be the best. TMHC gapping up, but it's 3 days already. But it's a very bullish 15-minute chart. 30-minute high maybe, just for a day trade only. We don't swing trade things extended like that. EA call spread. Yes, this is a textbook M top. That's an M top. Gap to resistance, close weak, relative weakness. You know, opening pretty flat here. Yep, I'll put that in a window. Yep. Spot. This is Greg's dog named Spot. Gap's too excessive, but bullish. Sherwin, gap into the 200, no interest. SBH was just churning. It's way higher from a bottoming pattern. We got out of RCL yesterday. But I said, you know, if you wanted to hold a core, I couldn't blame you. We nailed the entry 2 days ago. Look at that. But we got out because it had earnings. This one, NSC, gap into the 200. That would be its target. NOC is a big mess. 30-minute low call spread idea. Here's a call spread. Myrna, I know it's a bio, high risk, but the pattern, sloppy kind of M top,